lot of people, I think, are hung up on the high salary criterion. So I have had a lot of consultations where people are making just under the 90th percentile. We're talking $1,000, $2,000 a year under the 90th percentile, which is really frustrating. And they work for really big companies, so it's not the kind of thing where they can go to HR and say, like, look, can you just increase my compensation by $2,000 this year? It will really help me out. And then, like, talk about negotiating or adding an additional duty or something. Like, you can do that at small companies. It's very, very flexible. And usually the employer is willing to consider it. But at big companies, there's bans. It's really, really hard to justify a raise and all of that. So it's not really possible. If the base salary really is $1,000 or $2,000 lower than the 90 is, you can look at doing a W-2, like showing total cash compensation over the year. And most people's cash compensation is actually really good. Like, if the prevailing wage is $239,000 a year for 90th percentile, the person's making maybe $235,000. But their W-2 should show something significantly more. Maybe it'll show $360,000 or something like that because they got a cash bonus. They cashed out a little bit of their stock or something like that. Using the W-2 is okay. It is something that I use in EB-1A cases from time to time. But I think people think that the high salary should be more objective than it is, and it's not. If you use the W-2, you're making an argument. USCIS can reject that argument. They can really question it and come down and say, what is your base salary? They can come out and say, you need to make sure that the metrics that you're using are exactly comparable, which, pro tip, they never are. There is no direct comparison that you can use, according to the government data. The government doesn't even tell us what they survey for. Like, is it W-2 compensation? Is it base salary? Is it cash compensation, like base and bonus? I wouldn't be surprised if all the companies they survey report different figures for this. I don't think that the data being collected is necessarily all consistent. And then, of course, the salary surveys like Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, Salary.com, like all the major ones are self-reported, so they have the same kinds of issues. Like, you never know what is the direct comparison, what is fair. You do have some professional salary survey companies that try to do a better job. There's Mercer and Radford and like a bunch of the big ones, but even those will have a really difficult time because you're very rarely going to be able to match exact job title, exact job duties, exact job level. And then they go off of cash compensation, but they don't say exactly what constitutes cash compensation. So it's variable. You can use the W-2. You can. Just don't expect every attorney to be totally comfortable with that, because we do see a lot of pushback when we do that. So yeah.